Do you have the courage to act even when you're being attacked? Like, it's an interesting question, right? It's not like a complicated question either. It's like, do you have the courage to act even when you're being attacked? On a daily basis, you're facing this. On a daily basis, I'm facing this. On a daily basis, we're all facing this. Like, this is the society that we have gotten into, is a society of people who just attack, right? We attack, we attack, we attack, we attack. It's like we have been taught and trained and educated to attack. We see a slight bit of weakness in another person, we attack. We see a frailty or a flaw in somebody else, we attack. We see somebody that says something, we attack. We see something that's incorrect, like a misspelling on a blog post, or somebody misspells the word your instead of yo, Y-W-O-U, or Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, or Y-O-U-R. We see it, and we're like, oh, fuck, attack. Our wife says something wrong, we attack. Our husband says something wrong, we attack. Our kids say something's wrong, we attack. The government says something wrong, we attack. The president misspeaks, we attack. All day long, you're being attacked. All day long, you're being attacked. Attacked. And all day long, a part of you wants to attack everybody else. This is the hardest part of being a human being, is the simple fact there's a part inside of us that is designed to attack. It's designed to react and attack to things it sees, right? People think you can exist in this life without judgment. You cannot. You are a judgment machine. You are a walking judging machine. You judge the shit out of everybody. You judge the shit out of your neighbor. You judge the shit out of me. You judge the shit out of your pastor. You judge the shit out of the president. You judge the shit out of somebody at the grocery store. You judge the shit out of celebrities. You judge the shit out of influencers on social media. This is what we do as human beings. We judge. There's a piece of us that was built to judge. Right? This is one of the big topics we'll be facing and dealing with the WarriorCon 4, is this inability for men to continue to act even when they're being attacked. Right? To be able to go even when you're being thrown in the way, obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and person after person after person, and situation after situation after situation that continues to mount itself like a giant pile of dog shit right in front of you. I was at a room called the Power Room for a couple days. And ran this event with the guys who were there. It was amazing. The Power Room Mastermind was fantastic. And the whole topic was this word power, right? And men and women travel from all over the United States and Canada to come to this location in order to be in this room with power, right? This is a topic that people are looking for, because power is a conversation that allows for a person to become bigger than the attack. Bigger than the attack. It doesn't mean you're not going to punch back. It doesn't mean you're not going to get aggressive. It doesn't mean you're not going to get angry. It doesn't mean you're not going to punch somebody in the fucking throat because they punched you. But what it does mean is a certain level, you have to get used to the fact that you are in a war zone. Life is not some happy clappy worship song. That's not what life is. Life is not happy clappy meditation retreats. It's not. At some point, you have to leave the meditation retreat and you have to enter the war zone called life. And people are like, well, life is not a war zone. It's only a war zone because you created to be a war zone. I said, you only say that because you aren't building anything. You recognize you should partner all my ads and all my Facebook ads and all my Instagram ads and YouTube ads and all the stuff that we do advertising-wise to find and hunt down men just like you that are watching this that deserve to be at WarriorCon 4, to not only learn how to find the power and the capacity to continue to act even when you're being attacked. Right? This is a aggressive conversation. War is part of life. You recognize behind every ounce of freedom there was a war that preceded it. Freedom isn't free. Freedom doesn't happen. Freedom doesn't just show up. You're not just free as a man because you choose it. You're not just free because you had a mental shift inside of your mind. At some point, you're going to have to go to war. Some people don't like this. They want to hug trees and move to Oregon. I'm like, fine, hug some fucking trees and move to Oregon, where all the drugs are legal. And that's fantastic. Go there. Get high as balls every single fucking weekend. I don't care. If that makes you happy, go do it. Do it naked. Hug a tree. Hug it naked. Rub your penis on the bark. Don't give a shit. If that's what makes you happy, go do that shit. Fine. But here's what I'm going to tell you for all the rest of you wanting to build something and not escape into the woods of Oregon and disappear forever while hugging trees while being naked. At some point, you got to come back down into reality called Earth. And at some point, you got to come back down into the reality of Earth. And in the reality of Earth, learn how to bring the kingdom of heaven through you here to the kingdom of Earth. You've got to learn how to be in a position of power and go to war. There's a piece of you that's got to knuckle up. A piece of you that's got to deal with the fact that part of building anything great demands war. Freedom in your marriage, preceded by war. Freedom in your family, preceded by war. Freedom in your body, preceded by war. Freedom in your business, preceded by war. Freedom in your country, preceded by war. Freedom with God, preceded by war. So my program is really simple, and Warrior is really simple. We wake warriors up. And we wake up warriors inside the men that find this place. A lot of people like to mock it. A lot of people like to mock it. A lot of people like to make fun of it. A lot of people like to speak shit about it. I get it. I understand why they do. Most people, when they first hear this message, particularly the right men, get triggered as fuck. Triggered as fuck. There's a piece of you that thinks somehow that I should come in with a nice little worship song, quote you some scriptures, and that you would just naturally wake up. Here's what we know for certain. If they're just singing to you nicely and holding you like a baby and putting a bottle in your mouth and singing some fucking hymns to you would wake you up, you'd already be fucking awake. And yet every single day, 10 to 20 men sign up for WarriorCon 4 off of videos just like this, simply for one simple reason. Why? Because they recognize that underneath all this flowery, happy-clappy bullshit is a war zone that exists inside their soul. A war zone in their mind. A war zone they don't tell people about. See, WarriorCon 4 is for a man like you who knows that on a daily basis to build the life that you want, there's an internal war that has to be mastered between the 6 inches of real estate between your ears. You don't figure out the war zone here, and you don't figure out the war zone here, and you don't figure out how to get that war zone to get you to move forward. You don't figure out how to continue to attack and have a courage to attack life and courage to deal with people who attack you as you build something great. You're going to fucking be small your whole life. You know the problem with friends? You know the problem with most men's friends? Most men's friends are only friends because they all commiserate at the same level of toleration. Most groups of men want things to stay the same. Most marriages want it to stay the same. Most families try to stay the same. Most businesses want to stay the same. Yet there's no staying same. There's no fucking staying the same. See, I want you to look at the dichotomy of this. There's a piece of your mind that wants to be safe and secure and doesn't want war. There's a piece of your mind that wants to be safe and secure and everybody to get along. There's a piece of your mind that wants everybody to like what you say. And then there's reality. Reality is most people don't give a shit what you say. Most people are going to disagree with what you say. Most people are not going to be encouraging. Most people are going to attack you. And most people don't give a fuck if you win or lose. The good news is I don't have to go to bed at night with all the trolls and social media. If I had to go to bed at night and face the trolls every single night in social media, it'd be a fucking nightmare. It'd be a really rough place to be. Because I'd walk into my house to a bunch of guys who were a bunch of fucking pussies who couldn't build anything themselves while they sat and picketed on the front door steps of my castle and told me as a king how to do it. I had an exchange happen recently on one of my ads. Let me tell you about it. This guy comes and he starts making all these comments. I've noticed this common theme that happens when you come into the marketplace as a man or a woman, by the way. This is not just exclusively to men and penises. This is also with women and vaginas and just about any human being that chooses to do what? Take a stand for what God's speaking through you. Take a stand and go to war with what you know must be done to get to the next level of freedom. Because, see, your current level of freedom is followed by a season of war and then opens up a new season of freedom. And you don't skip from freedom to freedom. The only people that tell you this are happy, clappy people in the woods of Oregon hugging trees naked. Those people will tell you can have happy to happy to happy. Happy to happy to happy. You know who else will tell you this? Pastors. Most pastors would tell you can jump from happy to happy to happy because they have to put on the happy, clappy plastic face because they don't want to talk about the dark shit that goes on in their church. They don't want to talk about the dark shit that goes on in their youth groups. They don't want to talk about the dark shit that goes on with the people in the congregation. They don't want to talk about the dark shit they have to deal with every single day. That's not positive. So we're going to stay positive and skip and play this miraculously stupid game called There Is No War, Everything is Happy, Everybody's Peaceful, Everyone Lets Us Get Along. That's not how it works. Because that's not how it works inside you. You realize the only place that you can wage war is in you. So I had this guy. He was running his mouth on my ads, and he attracts a lot of dudes who run mouth on their ads together. And this, I find it really interesting. It's like weak men just become a magnet to weak men. And weak women become a magnet to weak women, right? You ever notice this? When you want to bitch and moan and bitch and moan and bitch and moan, next thing you know, you find yourself surrounded in a circle of people who are just waiting for their turn to bitch and moan. They'll listen to you, but they'll only listen to you because they're so excited to bitch and moan about their own victimhood state. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And so you'll see people stand, and this guy was one of them. He starts having an opinion on my ads. And I sometimes what I like to do is I like to look at people and I like to see who it is. I'm like, cool, who's this person? Give me feedback. Let me check what they're at. And 100% of the time, you don't find somebody that creates any content in the marketplace at all on social media. Not one time have I had somebody come in and talk shit on my pages who, when you go to their page, they are a content contributor to the flow of content in society. They're not. They don't add value. They don't put themselves on the line. They don't put their face on the line. They don't put their family on the line. They don't contribute any value to the marketplace whatsoever. Outside of 99% of the time, some stupid ass picture for their profile picture, a banner. They've not added any content or shared any content since 2009. And all they've done since then is typically sharing other people's content. You find out real quickly who you're dealing with on the pages, and typically they're all people that think I'm an idiot, people that think that I'm me and Donald Trump are fucking pussies. You just go to their page and it's very quickly you find out who the fuck you're dealing with. So I do that. I like to go to people's pages who have comments. I'm like, cool, maybe this is a highly educated PhD. Maybe this is somebody who's a deep content contributor. Maybe this is a movement maker. Maybe this is somebody that's put their fucking ass on the line. Maybe I can respect the feedback this person's giving me. Let me go check out where my feedback is coming from. So I go to his page and I look at it, and it's like every other jackass in the fucking game that talks shit. There's nothing. There's a dude with his shirt off. He's got like this Mario Brothers fucking logo over his face, and he's flexing his muscles while trying to flex on me. So he makes some comments going back and forth, and I jot a little bit. And what I like to do is I like to take pictures of them, and I blow up their profile pic, and I post it with some smiley, laughy emojis underneath their comment. And I said, let's just let everybody look at who we're dealing with here. I had a guy once do this, and what was his profile picture? He has purple hair with some sunglasses. He's about 45 pounds overweight. He's bent over with a picture of a painting against a wall with a butterfly coming out of his ass. And this is a guy talking to me about how I'm projecting my inadequacies as an alpha man or a non-alpha man on the marketplace. And I'm here taking feedback from this glass-eyed, 40-pound overweight, purple-haired motherfucker with a butterfly coming out of his ass trying to tell me I'm an alpha that's projecting my insecurities on the world. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. This fucking pussy wouldn't say shit to my face any goddamn day of the fucking week. That's okay, though. I can come to terms with that. But this guy had a Mario Brothers picture over his face. So I take and he said, oh, you don't have the courage to put my picture up there. You're so tough, you weak-ass pussy. I'm like, okay, cool. First off, you're probably from the Midwest. I don't know why this happens. They're all from little small-ass little podunk country bunk trailer park fucking Midwest towns. And I was going to see him. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? So I go to check out who it is. He's got his Mario Brothers face, and he's not saying shit. He's contributed nothing. He shared a whole bunch of propaganda shit. He hates Donald Trump. There's a whole predictable rhythm with guys that do this to me. And then I go to the page, and he's like, he won't post a picture. So he tries to be the guy in charge of the fucking king of the shitheads in my comment reel. And he's talking, and I'm sharing all this with you because if you're going to do anything significant, this kind of shit's going to happen with you too. So we go back and forth in this little dialogue. And he's trying to front up on me, and I'm like, okay. And he's a fucking faceless keyboard warrior. So I'm like, why am I doing this? Because I'm going to use this as content for marketing, which is what I always do, which I did. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm engaging back and forth. And then I asked him a question. I said, hey, bro, does your boss know that you're here fucking around on my Facebook page during work hours? A few seconds later, he responds back, and he says, yeah, asshole. My boss is right by me. He doesn't even care. And I said, that doesn't surprise me. You paycheck little slave. Of course you're the king of the shitheads. You're a fucking slave to a check. You don't know shit about my world, pussy boy. Guess what happened with the comment thread? Silence. So, as nice as it would be, and by the way, you don't think anybody do this stuff in person. I do this. I'll collide with anybody in person. But do you know why you have to start practicing this? And while the happy clappies will tell you not to punch back, because it keeps you weak. It keeps you fucking weak. Every time you don't punch back, you tell yourself something. The message that you stand for doesn't matter. The people that you're called to serve don't matter. And you get weaker. It's like avoiding collision conversation with your spouse. You avoid having hard conversation with your spouse, right? You won't have the conversation with your child. You won't have the conversation with your team. You won't have the conversation with your children. You won't have the conversation with yourself. And this is where the hardest part is the fact that fuck all the people that are talking shit. Do you know the person that talks the most shit every single day about you? You. You talk shit. You do. You're going to have to wait. You talk shit. You're the person who does. And so all of the triggers that come from outside, that's all part of it. But the person you're going to have to punch in the throat the most is you. If you can learn to deal with you, and you can learn to collide with yourself, and you can learn to punch yourself in the throat, and you can learn to deal with the hard line inside your own mind, I think what you're going to find, and what we found here at Warrior for the past 10 years, is that men who are able to do this, and yes, women who are able to do this too, have a much simpler time in building a life that works because they've taken on the hardest war first, which is themselves. Themselves. I get why these men do what they do and say what they say. They're scared. They're scared and they're hurt, like a wounded animal that you try to help that bites you in the fucking hand when it gets back into a corner. It thinks you're there to hurt it, but you're actually there to help it. And so we've got a nation full of wounded fucking men. Wounded men all over the place. And ladies, I feel for you. I feel for you because you're married to a lot of them. And you're married to these weak men who are terrified. They just know how to blow up, and then they know how to do nothing else. And their frustration, their basic excitement is a UFC fight on a Saturday night, or a NASCAR race on Saturday, or a football game on Sunday, and hanging out at the fucking sports bar. This is not man shit. They call this man shit. What this is escapism. When the most exciting thing in your life is a fight that's happening on Saturday night, but you avoid the fight in front of your own eyes every single day, you got a fucking problem. When the greatest contribution you have to the world and your only notoriety comes when you talk shit about me, you got a problem because you've not created anything. All you've created is a line of dialogue of shit talking about other people. And yet when we come back to your front porch, you still live in a fucking trailer. Like, this reality of facing war in you is a decision. This is why Warrior Corner 4 is a gig exists. This is why we're putting it on. This is why we're doing it. I'll give you one last story. I was talking about how I get Botox. Didn't used to get the Botox. Got Botox here in just the last 6 months. My wife wanted me to get Botox. The guy said, oh, fine, it's cool, we'll go do it. Did it, kind of liked it. Made my eyes feel more awake. Enjoyed how it made me feel. It was great. And so I put that up on a live, and I had a guy talk shit here just recently, just yesterday or today. And he's like, oh, you're just a fucking beta man. Blah, 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 blah. What your wife's saying is you're ugly. And you're nothing but a pussy whoop pussy. Blah, 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 blah. So, of course, I do what I always do. I click on his page. I go over and look, and the man has one picture. A picture of a church house for his profile picture. The same one repeated as a banner. With zero content, zero contribution at all. So I responded back and I said, listen, I know who you are. You're an overweight man living somewhere in the Midwest. You live in a trailer and you jerk off to women that you lust after every single night on the Pornhub that you'll never fucking get your whole life because you're a fat, hairy-backed, weak-ass piece of shit. Now, some people say that's not what Jesus would say. I said, well, good news. I'm not Jesus. But good news also. Jesus sent me to kick you in the fucking dick and wake you up. So how about you put that in your pipe and smoke it? Here's what I can tell you. Warrior's not for everybody. Never has been, never will be. Warrior's for men. Warrior's for a particular kind of man. Warrior's for a man who knows he was called to lead. Lead his marriage, lead his family, lead his children, lead his business, lead in life. And he may not be running a business right now, but he's filled with the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm not after everybody, but I will mow through 10,000 weak-ass pussy men in this country to find you. And our games have never been about numbers. Our games have been about the right numbers. It's been about the right men. So if you're the right man, stop fucking around. Don't listen to these pussies. Stop being king of the shitheads. Show up in a way for yourself that matters. Come learn how to win the war in your own head. Come learn how to learn to live the war inside of your marriage. Come learn how to live the war so that when people attack, when you build big shit, you'll have the courage to just mow right over them. And occasionally for entertainment, just to sharpen your saw, you'll just punch a weak guy in the fucking face. And that's what we do. I invite all sparring sessions. And at the same time, I'm focused on one mission. My mission is you. If you're watching this, you're not one of those guys. If you're watching this, you're ready. If you got into this place in the video, it's time for you to move, my friend. Click on the link on my bio or click on the link associated with this video and get yourself secure coming to WarriorCon 4 October 26th to 29th. My friend, this is it.